is that every year people want to hear from Mr. Kishore Biyani. They want to hear his thoughts. They want to get an understanding of what drives this man who has had such a profound effect on Indian retail. And we are here to oblige you. So it's a great pleasure once again to present to you Mr. Kishore Biyani in a one-on-one conversation with Manvi Dhillon.
He is actually the face of Indian retail, and he needs absolutely no introduction because he has shown what you can do if you anticipate what future customers will want and seek. But I'm here today not to discuss foreign direct investment in retail or reform of the APMC Act. We're here to deconstruct Kishore Biyani. Thank you very much. It's indeed always a pleasure. The news instinct in me forces me to ask about what's in the front page of the newspaper today. So let's get that over and done with. And I'll ask in a broader context as well. But, you are talking to a number of people around the world. You're also absorbing what's happening in different geographies of the world. Are you talking to Lawson's?
We believe, we've created a format called KB's Fair Price, which is a kind of a...
Just 1 second.
Called KB's Fair Price, which is currently a 3-city format, a convenience store. Not a convenience, it was a neighborhood store. And we have seen retail around the world. And one retail format which has excited us lately has come from another part of the world. And it's a convenience store format. It's exciting. So we are looking at an opportunity of converting KB's Fair Price into a convenience store kind of a model where you can pick up your morning breakfast, you can have your lunch, you can pick up your lunch, you can have your dinner, besides whatever items which you are selling, which are basic needs of the people residing around this place.
So new format and new potential partner?
It's a format which is already existing. It's an experimentation with a lot of new products which we are going to do now.
And new partners?
We have never talked about a partnership.
Okay, we got that done with. But every year the crowd collects here because you've always proven that you're one step ahead of the consumer's desire for a particular format, a particular service, a particular phenomena. What's really changed in the last year? What has the discovery process been, the understanding been through your eyes of retail in India?
I think what we have realized is we have started looking at the food business.
We're going to share a mic. Hold on there, everyone. Give us 2 minutes. We're going to figure this out, or we're going to share a mic.
Hello. That's okay now.
Is it okay now? Can I get a thumbs up from the back? 3 thumbs ups would be great. Perfect. So we're all set. I was saying, what's last year been like? What's changed? Because this is a market that's changing.
I think we are experimenting a lot on the food side of the business, and we have built up some supply chains. One big supply chain which we have built up is on the dry grocery side. We are building up a big effort on building up a fresh fruits and vegetable supply chain. We are currently now working on building up a supply chain on ready-to-eat meals and other items. And we are also building up a mega food park which will create processed food, our own brand play in a sense. So I think food is the next big exciting thing, and that's the big consumption of India. We believe the new India, what they want to consume in terms of foods, processed foods, grocery, fresh fruits, and every daily consumption items.
You've got in 2011. I want to actually fast forward beyond. What's just a germ of an idea in your head right now?
I think currently, like the entire world is working on something called digital commerce, and that's what is exciting us also. So we have started experimenting with a lot of things on that. We have our own e-commerce site called Future Bazaar. So we are trying to convert our electronic business into a e-commerce, digital commerce business, selling it through the 4 screens or on the phone. I think that's the next big thing. The way we look at it, after 4 years in India, there will be no retail space available. The physical retail space will be dwindling in terms of volume. And if there will be a new $600 billion of consumption, how are you going to collect orders? How are you going to sell it? And that has to be, we have all the products with us. You need to just create a technology platform for order management, for your logistics, which we have done now. And now I think the customers are also beginning to shop on the digital network. We believe that business is growing very rapidly. There are many, many players who are coming in. Can we play that game is something which we are working on.
That's the germ of an idea.
It's with you now.
Is it back for good? I think it is. Thank you for your patience. And Mr. Biyani, thank you for your patience. You know, I was just going to say something to you. You said you have a feeling that consumers are getting ready for, e-commerce or, experimenting, buying in different ways. I'm sitting across you. I would never buy anything online, let alone anything regular, routine, etc. online. The Indian consumer is full of contradictions. And it's changed since the time that you started out in this business. What's your sense, if you had to describe an Indian consumer today, what would you choose, what set of adjectives would you choose to describe it?
I think there are many, if you look at the younger lot of customers, majorly in the urban centers, people are experimenting with mobile commerce, people are buying on television commerce, people are buying on the net. So there is a lot of first kind of buying which is happening. So maybe we have grown older. My daughter still shops on the net. So there are many, many consumers. I think we get around 40 to 50,000 hits. We are processing 1,000 plus orders every day. So business is happening.
Business is happening, and I suppose it'll scale up going forward. All of this business talk that I was doing so far, Mr. Biyani, was to try and map the man that he is, because there are lots of different ideas floating in his head all the time. Sometimes, and I ask you this as just a regular person, how do you keep track of various new concepts, ideas, businesses, some really just seed businesses, some scaling up, some have potential? How do you map them all just in terms of one human being figuring out what's going on different fronts in the future group?
I think our business is very simple if you look at it. We sell food, we sell fashion and everything which goes at your home. And we have created various delivery formats to make these deliveries happen. And now we are looking at how do you get into the supply chain and the back end of food, fashion and all the home products. So it's not a difficult task. What we are attempting to do is something which we are getting ready as a country on a everyday basis. So I think e-commerce, consumers are ready, we should be ready. The back end, people want to try out new food products, so why not we can offer it. So I think the cosmos has been created. It's the pieces which you pick up every year and do something about it. Yeah.
Sometimes you pick up some pieces that don't really work out, and then what do you do?
There are many pieces which don't work out, and you have to destroy them and get it out of your head.
And it's easy to do that, just destroy. You've created something, it's not working out, and you just destroy it.
One has to destroy.
And you've actually described yourself as an innovator / creator and destroyer. In between is something called consolidation, nurturing, holding on to what's already in place. So at the Future Group, have you begun to do that, consolidating, nurturing, etc.? Or are you still playing the role of innovator and destroyer?
I think preservation has crept in a long time back, and our fashion business has consolidated significantly. Food is what is currently happening and home is happening on the side. So all this are in various stages of preservation and consolidation and growth.
But there are other people doing that? You're still playing the role of innovator and destroyer?
Our job is to provide the vision and the strategy, and they are the people which help us to do whatever we do.
Okay. Do you sometimes think that perhaps you need to take on the preservation role?
I'm learning to do that.
Is it tough?
I've started enjoying doing it.
How far have you gone? in the learning curve?
Reaching up to a point, you don't know where the top point is in this, but it's a very different role than the role which you play while creating something.
Break it down for us. We are all curious. When you go from an innovator, destroyer mindset to a preserver mindset, what goes in, what goes out?
I think the entire team which works with you has worked with you on a creation mode. And when you move into a preservation mode, you have to make your team think the way you are thinking. And sometimes you give a lot of confusing signals to people, and that's a real challenge. And I think the human dynamics become very different when you are in a preservation role. In preservation role, you have to be less emotional. You have to do away with giving away something. And that's the most challenging piece, because in a creation role, the emotion quotients are very, very different, because you are not benchmarking, you are not measuring yourself, and in a preservation mode, you are doing everything. And that's the difficult phase, because creation and preservation are two different things. And if it is happening at the same time, you have to wear many, many hats.
Okay. Has your team settled around you in this new avatar?
I'll have to ask them, or
I'm sure you ask them, because if you're in this mode now, you have to get feedback to say, has Kishore Biyani reinvented himself successfully?
People adjust much faster than what I can adjust, because they are playing a role, and I think they adjust much better than what I can adjust.
Okay. On a slightly different note and going down a different road here, what are the paramount worries for you as a man, and as things stand in 2011? Of course, we're talking in the context of the Future Group. We're talking in the context of an economy that in 2008 proved it was really resilient. In 2011, it's questioning its resilience just a little bit. So, there's a little bit of a change in the mindset. Opportunities are well known, well mapped. Optimism is out there. But take all of this together and say, what does Kishore Biyani spend a lot of time thinking about these days in terms of worry areas?
I think for us, we have created so much of formats, so much of back-end supply chains, an organization. All about now taking an opportunity and leaping forward. And that we alone won't be able to do everything. So there will be an opportunity on maybe a neighborhood store, there will be an opportunity on a hypermarket, there will be an opportunity on a departmental stores, on a home store, or on an electronic store. So we are going to seize the opportunity and scale this business to probably 3 times or 4 times level. And for that, we believe we'll need somebody along with us to do that.
You need somebody?
We'll need somebody along with us, because the base has been set up. We have reached significant levels. Most of our businesses are above 1,000 crores, each and every format. I think to now take them to another level, the opportunity is huge, and you need that. You need a concentrated effort on that business alone. You can't wear multiple hats at the same time and grow them disproportionately. So that's what is the current work which we are doing, is to look at partners in each and every business, make a business plan for that, and go for it, big time.
So you know what you want a partner for, but it can't be easy picking a partner, as life has shown, and policy constraints, etc., exist. So, how do you move forward?
But I think there is always an Indian jugaad way of doing something. So you'll see a lot of solutions coming out.
Tell us, give us a sense. I'm not asking for names, but what are the jugaad solutions?
I think they're all technical solutions, so probably I'll not be able to talk about this out here.
But it's not easy finding the right partner. It takes a lot of effort and energy, and I'm sure it takes a lot of travel around the world as well.
I got married to my wife, the first woman I met and saw, so I think you can easily find a right partner there.